because these are not questions you ask when you're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath.
Teaching people that maybe you could turn your house into a rental, what opportunities there are in the midst of the problem.
Welcome to Perspectives Unlocked, where real stories fuel real results. Today, we're sitting down with 3 standout rookies who are rewriting the playbook for new agents. Crystal Novak out of Phoenix, Shannon Elliott working Iowa and Illinois, and Sasha Valdes holding it down in South Florida. In just a few short years, they've turned hustle, heart, and creativity into serious volume. From personalized client touches and curated gifts, to mastering open houses and using tech in smart, human ways. If you've ever wondered how to build a thriving business without losing your personality, this is your masterclass.
All right. I am Crystal Novak. I am a real estate agent in the Phoenix, Arizona area, mostly focused on Peoria. And I have been an agent with Real since I started my career in real estate. I actually had an amazing sponsor that had already been with Real and brought me under his wing and taught me so much. And I'm just so grateful. And I really just loved Real from the beginning and everything that it was all about. I didn't really even interview that many brokerages, to be totally honest with you. So I'm super happy to be here. And I've been in real estate for almost 3 years. I'm in my 3rd year right now. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about all of the success and things that I've been able to do to get where I'm at. And here are the other amazing 2 ladies that are going to be with me.
Hi, I'm Shannon Elliott, and I am licensed in Iowa and Illinois, and I just have had my license for over 2 years. I've been with Real for 2 years. I was licensed for 8 weeks before I started with Real Broker. And my mentor is my amazing niece, Sarah. And I think that I have leaned into all my connections and people. I'm a very foreground person instead of a background person. And that's how I've seen my business just escalate over the past couple of years.
So my name is Sasha. I am from Southeast Florida. I had just recently joined Real in February of this year. I'm grateful to be here. I love the collaboration that we have on such a large scale and things like this moment now where we're actually able to share with other agents our success stories, because all of us are rookies. All of us have 3 years or less, which in a world where everybody's like, I've been doing this 25 years, it's great to have such a short period and such high success with our way of doing business. So I can't wait to share with you ladies what has brought us, all the success and all the happy stories that we have, along with some lessons, obviously.
Yeah, it's so fun that we were just brought together, a couple of weeks ago, because the 3 of us were Rise Media's top 25 real estate rookies for this year nationally. So our team at Real and the podcast team, thought it would be super awesome for us all to come together and just share with everyone, everything, tactics, actionable items, things that have gotten us where we are in a short amount of time. So we're excited to just dive in and get to work. So what are you ladies doing? What is working for you in your business? What do you account so much of your success to?
I think with my open houses, I have converted so many. Last year I had 62 transactions, and I don't pay for leads. So I feel like my connections, just being real and unfiltered and really getting to know the people when they're in there, I feel like I'm the one that's getting interviewed. And so when you're asking those questions, leading people through open houses, I feel like that's where I've captured a lot of my connections and clients. And so from there, I've gotten referrals, and it's been a wild ride.
That's amazing. Are you on a team, Shannon?
I am not.
You're solo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about you, Sasha?
I'm looking to build my team.
You what?
I said I'm looking to build a team.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about that.
What about you, Sasha? Are you on a team or are you solo?
I actually came on a solo agent, and I love it. I am right now in complete happiness being alone. I kind of dig it, but I am assuming that by next year we will be recruiting and looking for the right hires to help grow the team out. So as of right now, just solo, just like Shannon.
That's awesome. So I'm actually on a team. So I love that we have a little bit of a variety here. Going solo has been something I've thought about for a little bit now that I am doing so much business and don't feel like I need quite as much support. But my whole reason for joining a team to start with was just the support aspect. The team that I'm on doesn't provide leads or anything. So everything I'm doing is all, from my own efforts. But just having an amazing support system has been everything to me. So it's at some point I probably could do it myself, but I'm working on where I am to get to that place. But it just makes such a difference when you get started. Did you start on a team before when you first started in real estate?
Me? No, I did not. No. And that's what I'm looking for, is a succession plan to extend my services, because that's where I feel like I'm struggling. Because one thing my niece taught me was always say yes. And I feel like my business has just grown. I have a transaction coordinator, so which is amazing, but now I need somebody part of my team so then we can execute all these things that I'm trying to bring to life.
Yeah, I think we're all probably in a period of like scaling and trying to figure out what that looks like because we grew so fast. Like we all had so much success so fast. I guess we haven't even really talked that much about like our success. Where are we? Where have you gotten in the last 2 to 3 years? Like what kind of transactions are we doing and what's our volume? Like I feel like we should probably share that with everybody so they know that they're listening to people that are credible.
I just capped. So January 1st was my anniversary date with Real Broker. So I just did my 12,000 cap, but it was yesterday. So, and that was 3 months sooner than last year. So I'm pretty proud of that accomplishment. So obviously I'm on my way to a lead. Last year I was a lead, and that was my first full year with Real. And so I just don't have boundaries, and that's where I struggle with because I am a mom of 7 kids and trying to balance all of that. And so that's why I'm looking at, building my sphere because it's important because I just think there's such a need for customer service. That's where I came from. I had a retail background. And I'm just not seeing it as much as I would like to see it because the reward is when my clients give me a great feedback. It's just, that's what I kind of want to focus on is the customer service.
Yeah, I think leveraging is so important, especially since if you want to give them that 5-star service, you can't when you're spread so thin. So awesome. Okay. What about you, Crystal?
So this year I'm on track to do 15 million. I've done like 28 transactions to date, and I think I'm kind of leaning towards, I think I'll probably be close to 35 to 40 between there by the end of the year. I don't know. We'll just kind of see what happens for the rest of the year. But I did 11 million last year. So my goal this year was actually 15. So I'm on track for that. So super excited about that. But I lean into my sphere almost entirely. I don't pay for leads at all. In the beginning of my business, I tried. Like I had lenders that were like, hey, I'll, give you Zillow leads if you, work with me and that kind of thing. And I started to do that. And then I realized, I don't want to have to call these people 100,000 times to get them to just answer the phone. And so I realized very quickly that like lead systems were just not, and like pay for leads were not for me, but they work so well for some people. So I'm actually kind of curious if you guys do any of that too. But for me, it's been just about like really loving on my sphere. Like my coach, my sponsor actually, Templeton Walker, he like sat down with me when I first joined Real and just first became an agent. I was literally brand new. And he was like, okay, the first thing that you're going to do is sit down and write down like your closest 50 people in life. And then like your friends, your family, like all the people, you could count on. And it's not going to be some weird salesy thing if you send them a voicemail or, a text message. So I ended up sending voice messages to like all 50 of those people just to start with, just to be like, hey, it's me. And it was so awkward, but he was like, blame it on your coach. Like tell them that your coach is making you reach out to everybody because you're starting a new business. And I think that's where new agents, they think that I know real estate and I know exactly what I'm doing and I love houses and I love all this, but they don't realize that like they're actually starting a brand new business. And so learning the business side of things along with real estate, I feel like has been part of what has gotten me so successful so quickly, is because I was building a business from the start and not only, trying to just get transactions, I guess. So I reached out to all my closest friends and family, obviously, to make sure that they knew what I was doing and I was passionate about it. I sent voice messages because I'm just not a phone girl. I don't like to pick up and call. And so voice messages were great, though. And people would respond back to me and they're like, oh, my gosh, like, yes, we love that, this new adventure. We can't wait to share it with you. And that's kind of where I just got rolling. Like I made sure everybody knew what I was doing, asked for, referrals, and then just started kind of keeping in touch with just those people and basically just went from there. So I'm curious though, like for you guys, do you guys do lead systems? Like where do you guys generate your leads to?
So I don't pay for leads either. And so that's the first thing people usually ask me because I had so many like transactions. So when you were talking about that, the connection, it's that art of communication. So if I had a sign call or something like that, or a referral, it's making that connection with that person, a personal connection to put them at ease. And I feel like that's where I'm really successful at. And because then people trust me and then they actually see my work ethic and then see that I'm executing at that level and see my professionalism. And that's where I feel that I've grown my business. And so the first year, I think my average transaction was 233,000. So like this year, I set a goal. I wanted to be over 300,000. So right now, I'm about 330,000, and I have 40 transactions. So it's building that, and just how I said about boundaries. I'm not setting boundaries. I have to learn to do a better job at setting boundaries. But I feel that that's where I'm really successful at. And the same thing with you with about the Zillow leads and all of that. Like, it works for some people. I think that's great, but I just feel that I can grow my business more genuinely and instead of just being transactional.
What about you, Sasha?
So I've had great success here in Southeast Florida with the immense amount of people that we have. We have 60,000 registered agents in our association alone. So there's a lot of competition, and I was still able to find success here through means of being in front of people. I was doing open houses pretty much the beginning. I was, as an agent, you had asked what background we have. I was on a team of two, team lead and me. And woohoo. And
Great.
yeah, I basically forced them to open the team for me. So that was always a fun thing. But I had an amazing mentor. He really told me that open houses are a really great way to meet, because as a buyer's agent back then, how else are you going to meet buyers? A lot of people were not hosting them in 2022 and 2023. Down here, it was just like shooting fish in a barrel. Like, houses were just selling. So I had the opportunity of hosting for multiple brokerages, multiple listings, different price points. I got to really know it and be in front of people, and being a person of value that waits to listen and can speak and knows when to kind of engage with people really brought me a lot of success. So I've done a little over 30 million in transactions on and off market. And that's while having a 10-month-old and 22-month-old while I was balancing all. So I don't have 7 kids. I can't imagine. Shannon, okay, let me just give one of these to you.
2 is more than enough for me.
I have 2, and I'm like, like, I literally drop coffee off on Fridays to these teachers because I'm like, I can't do it,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it doesn't matter then.
Oh, but overall, it's been a combination of open houses and meeting people. I did so many at some point that I would always be introducing myself, being of value to them, constantly showing them that I'm a little different than just the person that's down here, just kind of like
The other open house.
yeah, shazays their way through things, and it's been powerful. I feel like my CRM, especially because a lot of people, we don't feed into our database. And Shannon, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Crystal, you're doing everything every coach begs us to do, which is call our sphere. Like, you already talked to them. Pick up the phone and do it. I can honestly say like 99% of us have probably never made that circle prospecting call. Hey, I'm in real estate now. So I think that is something that, especially with our success, we should all be doing. And even if you're not successful, get there by doing Crystal's method. Shannon, you said open houses. I would love to touch base on the difference of your open houses versus what people think are an open house, or Crystal, your phone calls based on what people think they are. Because I know so many of us get thrown scripts from multiple brokerages and are told so many different things. And there's really so many ways to peel this onion. And I feel that if we were to touch base on tactics, we can help people know how that they also can use our implemented actual true and tried practices for their business to grow as well. So I would love to touch base on those.
Yeah, I think that basically we can sum it up we've only been talking for 10 minutes. And we can sum up that like all of us agree that just being human is a very much like common denominator here. Mm-hmm. Like we're different than just somebody that's walking into an open house and they're like, how's the weather? How's your day? Like, you let these people walk around and then you just show them who you are. Like, just be human. Like, just Shannon was talking about customer service. Like, you can get a feeling of someone's personality. You just have to, don't be afraid to show your personality. People want to relate to you, and that's why they want to hire you. They're not hiring you for, whatever reason. They're hiring you because they want to work with you. So I don't know, Shannon, did you want to talk about?
No, I absolutely agree. Like, every time that I'm in an open house, like, I always go back to kind of my retail background. When somebody's coming in there, I'm the one that's hosting that home 99.9% of the time. That person isn't going to buy that house, but it's my opportunity to be able to guide them through the market and for them to be comfortable. So, when somebody comes in there, I'm always acknowledging them, ask them, hey, what are your plans for the weekend? Just to kind of get a sense of who they are. Maybe we have a connection, like how you guys have children, or if, what do they do for a living? Just kind of navigating that to find that commonality, and then it's comfortable. I've had more people call me like a week, 2 weeks after the fact, after they've met me at an open house, because they have gone to other open houses. They like, we really liked your style. We really want to start looking at houses. And that's kind of how I've built my business. And, just even last week, I had somebody call me because she wanted to work with me after meeting me at an open house. She said, we've been to quite a few, and you just really pointed things out that we would have never looked at in any other property. And so I think just having that confidence and making sure that you have the knowledge of, how a house is built, what it looks like, if there's deficiencies, appreciation, all those things, because that's our job, is to guide them through their home purchase, or obviously selling as well.
I'd like to piggyback off that. So Shannon touched up on a really good point. I think my success mimics yours in that sense, Shannon, that I look at the people that I'm talking to. And I think that so many times people are so busy about trying to sell the house that they forget that there's a human, which is what Crystal is 100% really shining in on, is that you have to be authentic, but you also have to have that humanity and that aspect. Myself, I've noticed that it's my detail and attention to detail of what's going on in front of me that has caused people to want to work with me. As a prime example, I have a family that walks in open house, or I'm just doing showings, and I notice that grandma is struggling to get out of the car. And then grandma walks into the house and we're doing showings, and now we're looking at it, or we're selling a house and we're looking at whatever it might be. Whenever I see that third person, the one that no one's talking about, the one that's not on our buyer or seller questionnaire, that is who matters to them. So I instantly say something like, oh, hey, so I noticed that we're at a townhome, or I noticed that we're in a 2-story home, but your mom is in a walker, or she's struggling to walk. Is she going to live with you? And it's something as simple as like, yeah, actually mom was planning on living with me. And then I'm like, oh, so how is that floor room upstairs going to work with her knees as she gets older? I mean, it's so silly, but it's a prime example that me saying that to the husband and wife, or the lady or the man, whatever is the combination of family dynamic, but saying that to the buyer puts them in perspective of, wow, this woman doesn't really care about the sale. She cares about my family. And that right there changes everything, because the more you notice if there's a baby on the way, or if they have small children, or things that are going to matter with regardless of what the four walls in that house look like, that you are there for that particular family, you're going to stand out more. And I feel that if we do that just the same way as we care of our friends, and we translate that to work, it'll make the success factor just that much higher. Right?
Yeah.
So do you do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, so that's actually something that I like, a tactic I would like to share, that you've brought that up now, because I feel like just creating the relationship in all of it is just so big. So I feel like with newer agents, if newer agents are, listening to us and trying to find out how we're getting deeper in, I feel like in the beginning, you're always like, well, why is someone going to choose me over this seasoned agent? I feel like that's a question we all probably had. And so for me, I would say I've won a handful of buyers and listings simply because of just my conversation with them. I'm very non-traditional when I go in. Like I am professional, but I'm also like, I'm here to get to know you and be your friend when I'm having that first initial meeting. And then after I've had my meeting with them, I send them like a follow-up email, very professional, but I also link a Google form to it. And I say, when it feels like we're possibly going to be moving forward, like it's not my first email to them. It's like my second conversation. So I have a link to a Google form, and it says, it's like a get to know you form. Like, where do you like to shop for your home items? What are your kids' names? How old are they? Like, who's going to be living with you? And what kind of coffee do you drink? So that when I go out and show them houses, I can bring them a coffee if it's early in the morning. Like, we're all moms. We get it. We live this, we live this life. And so I have truly, like, I had someone who was very close to going with a different agent, and they quickly just decided to set a meeting with me because someone had referred me. And I sent her that, and she was like, I'm done. This is easy. Like, I'm choosing you. Like, you make it just, they need to feel like they're important and they're not just a transaction, and we're not just trying to sell them a house. Like, we want to get to know them and we want to continue that relationship with them. So I feel like that is just something that I've been telling people about, and they're like, that's such a simple thing. Like a Google form, you just create it and then you can send the same link to everybody. And then you have all of their information in one place, and it's super easy too. But that is just one thing to kind of create that more like human interaction and connection that I feel like has won me buyers and sellers over maybe more seasoned agents.
So, Crystal, on your Google form, because so many of us have like buyer intake or seller intake forms, right? At least goes with systems in place.
Yeah.
You brought up like coffee, you brought up your kids' names. Like, what else is on there that most other agents don't think about? Because these are not questions you ask when you're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. So, could
Right.
you help us with some examples that's on your Google sheet?
Yeah, so it's like the coffee, and then kids, their ages. Obviously, they're just like general information so I can contact them again. But like favorite sports teams, if they have any, what they like to do as a family. Because when I'm making my closing baskets, I always try and like integrate something that like they like to do together. Like I had one family that they liked Harry Potter, and I found this like cool Harry Potter game that I put in their like basket. So just things like that that are going to help me get to know them, that might not just come out in the, when we're out showing houses, just so I can gather that information. And then at the end of the transaction, or in the middle when I'm bringing them, their favorite coffee. But at the end of the transaction, they're like, oh my gosh, like she really knows me well and she paid attention.
Do you feel like you get a lot of return clients? That's how your sphere has gotten so big, because you're literally as detail oriented as it gets to each person, that you're almost like their curated realtor. I love that. That's awesome.
Gifting is a big one for me too. Like, I mean, I just talked a little bit about my closing baskets, but like just like a month ago, I was doing a showing and I found out that it was their little girl's birthday. It was like her second birthday. So I brought her like a bubble gift, like just something super small, but they were like, this is amazing. Like you just treat them like friends and family, and they're going to come back and they're going to refer you. What do you guys think? Yeah.
I think you bring out such a great point, because on my thank you card, I always say our journey's not over, because a client for life. So when I have little kids that come to the closing table, I always have little bead bracelets that they can sit there and make. Like those tiny little things like mean so much to the clients, and that's what makes them a client for life, and just like checking in with them. So I love that you like the gift baskets and recognizing kids and all that. I'm the exact same way, and I think that's what makes us a little different, because we're not transactional, even though we do really well, but we're paying attention. So those social cues, that when people share their life with us, we're kind of putting it in here. That I was out shopping just like you, and there was a Star Wars book that I saw at a garage sale that had never been open, and I have a guy that was a total Star Wars. He loved it, and and I just dropped it off at his house, just put it on his front porch, and just said, hey, I thought you would like this.
Yes, I thought of you.
It goes such a long way, and I feel that's where my niche is, those social cues, just paying attention.
So ladies, I mean, I love that once we get the client and now they're our client for life, right? That's our hope. Is there anything that we can say, maybe follow-up wise, for a new agent that still is nervous to like reach back out? I think that all of us are obviously not shy, and not everybody is, though. I mean, some people are shy, but I feel like the fear of rejection is so big, and we forget that these people want us to help them. So I would love to touch base on not allowing the fear of rejection after they've opened up to you, because they clearly did on purpose. I know I've had people, right, ladies, that have been like, no, thank you. And you respect that. Like you walk away. You're not going to beat someone into telling you that they like Harry Potter, right?
Sure.
But the good news is, and I think we should definitely touch base for all our newer agents, is don't be afraid to reach back out. They met you, they liked you, they filled the Google sheet. It won't always translate to an immediate sale or purchase. And I think that all of us do very well knowing that they're ours. It's just a matter of when we can be of service to them, right? So is there a timeline maybe you can give other people on, or how many times they should touch base with them if it doesn't work out right away?
I kind of switch it up. It just depends on like how well I know them, and where I met them, where the lead came from. For me, I try and kind of do like a monthly thing, and then if we're not getting like a lot of response, I might change it to 2 months. But for me, when they're not transacting, I just try and find out like why. Like if you're not ready right now, that's absolutely totally understandable. I won't keep bothering you. But for me, like I feel like a lot of transactions I've been able to turn over and actually like make them happen because of just problem solving skills. So I feel like as a realtor, you know, I feel like everyone always talks about how we wear a bajillion hats because we do. We're like a therapist. We're, you know, somebody just told me the other day, they were like, does it require a like to be a therapist in order to be a realtor? And I'm like, no, but probably should, right? Like we're walking people through and they're apologizing for, you know, how crazy they feel. And I'm like, we're walking you through like one of the biggest purchases you will probably ever make. So it is okay to feel this way. And yes, I am like, I understand, and maybe it's my nursing background, I don't know, but I'm like, I understand that you're probably not going to be the most pleasant person this entire time because it's stressful. There's a lot going on when you're buying and selling. But anyway, I feel like I went off on a tangent with that. But so just being a problem solver. And so I think Shannon and I kind of touched on this the last time we got together. And I feel like it's just something you wear multiple hats. So like as a realtor, you problem solve too. So, you know, people basically a lot of another just big point in my success, I feel like in the last couple of years is just figuring out what everyone's pain point is. Like who is your ideal client and what is their pain point? And so for me, I figured out that I love, because I like to work with people in very similar periods of life as me, like little kids, maybe having to move up to their next house because they're outgrowing. And then you can relate. Like that's, again, it's about the communication and being human. So people love when you can relate to them. And so like being a move up buyer was kind of where I was like, you know what? I feel like that really resonates with me. Like I'm a move up buyer moving into like a bigger house, but don't have enough money where I, you know, could move without selling this one. And so if you can reach out, like whether it's social media or with people that you're having conversations with at open houses, like, hey, why are you not moving right now? Like you're looking, so you're obviously interested, but like, what is the reason that you're not? Like, what is your problem so I can help you create a solution? And I'm not going to lie, you guys, ChatGPT has great solutions. Have you guys been using ChatGPT?
Yes.
If you
I'm definitely getting into it more.
Could you give us some examples? Because I know I use it, but Crystal, like for someone that's logged into us right now, what would be a great problem that you type in and then you get a great solution for it?
Yeah. So like think about your ideal buyer, type into ChatGPT. I'm trying to reach move up buyers and tell me what some of their biggest problems are. ChatGPT will tell you all of their problems. And then from there, you can say, now, what are some solutions to their problems? And then you have all the tools and I mean, you guys probably already have a lot of the tools. I have a lot of the tools too, but ChatGPT will give you some. But it's really good and helpful for social media. If you like social media and marketing on social media, that if you're presenting a problem, that's a great hook. Like, I can't move because I have a 2% interest rate right now and they're, 6.5. Like, but there is a solution to that problem. And I've been educating a lot about that and teaching people that maybe you could turn your house into a rental and not lose that 2% and then use your income from that to buy your next house. So like, it's just figuring out what opportunities there are in the midst of the problem. And then when you're teaching people about that, they're excited because they're like, whoa, no one else has told me about this. Like, I just thought that I had to sell my house with a 2% interest rate. And that just felt terrible to me because who wants to sell and have to go get a 7%? So it's just like finding ways of solving their problems. And I have had so much success with that. I'm telling you, there's been so many people who were like, I never would have bought a house if you didn't come to me with, this, and this.
Well, I think you're taking the emotion out of it too for them because you are problem solving and that solution mentality, you're thinking for them. And they need that because it is an emotional decision when they're, they think that they have to sell their house and they don't. It's a great way to pivot to, as you say, move up.
Yeah. We don't know what we don't know. And so somebody's got to tell somebody about it. And sometimes I feel like we think that the knowledge we have, especially as rookies, that everyone else already knows what we know, that kind of thing. And I'm like, but there's plenty of people out there that you're talking to, whether it's on social media or when you're just having a conversation with somebody you just met, maybe at an open house or maybe at a networking event. They probably don't know. You're likely going to reach multiple people that don't know that information that you were sharing that you felt like everyone already knows.
No, I agree. I think there's a lot of surface conversations and I think there's a lot of depth that we provide as being rookies. Doing just a walkthrough with a client the other day, he said, I've worked with 3 other agents and I've learned more in the last 45 minutes with you than I've learned in the last 5 years. And I was so flattered, but I'm like, what am I doing differently that he's saying this? Because it wasn't the first time that I've heard it. You know, whenever I show a house, I'm like, I'm going to tell you the good, bad, and ugly. I'm not here just to sell this house. I'm looking for your home for your family or whatever the scenario, because we deal with death, divorce, birth, marriage. You know, there's so much emotion for a buyer or a seller, you know, working with people trying to sell an estate. You know, they're very emotional about it. And, you know, we're just trying to keep them on task. And we're the ones that are, you know, trying to problem solve for them. So we take that stress away, and I think that's what I do really well, is taking that stress away from my buyers and my sellers, just to make, and that's what I think brings them confidence about me.
Yeah, you're letting them know that you have their best interests at heart. You don't just want to sell this first house that you're walking into. You're going to point out the bad things or the things that maybe they're not seeing, to show them like, hey, I want to find you the right house, not just this first house because I want to be done. Like,
right. I always think of myself as a giraffe, because I do always stick my neck out for people, you know, and no matter what, whether it is good, bad, or ugly, like I would always be on the best interest of my client. I'm not there just to get a paycheck. It's just very important that I walk away knowing that I did the right thing for the client every single time, every showing, every open house.
Well, I think that it's cool. And to bring up that, Crystal, you were in nursing, Shannon, you were in customer service. A lot of our newer agents that are joining us, if you have something that's your background, lean in on it. You've already had years of whatever that might be. Crystal's trying to diagnose, just like a nurse would, what the problem is. Shannon's trying to alleviate and give you the customer service experience that you're looking for. And all those things are things that I think we as agents did lean in on. Like, I'm very data driven from having done data sales. So I'm looking at all the small details of all the overlays, as we used to call them, of what's taking place. And it's because of that detail orientation or your problem solving or your customer service. So whoever has whatever skill they come with into the industry, lean in on it, because you can absolutely put a spin on it in real estate and really make it your superpower. And I think a lot of us that are in coaching now or leading and starting new teams or whatever it might be, when we lean into what we're really good at and can have somebody else see that, it's going to be easier to provide a much more unique and like wholesome experience for everybody, because your intention is pure, you know what you're doing, and you're leaning in on what that superpower of yours is, because not everybody has it. So I think that I love that you said your previous backgrounds, because I'm sure a lot of us are not real estate agents before turning into real estate agents, right?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
yeah. Okay.
I think that's what makes us humble, though, because we don't see ourselves with superpowers. It's just who we are. Right. And I think people can learn from that, you know, because it's just something what you have.
Yeah. I think we're out of time, you guys. We could keep going for like ever, right? Well, this was awesome. I'm so happy that we got to share all of this. I mean, I learned a lot from the two of you and just your experiences, and hopefully everyone can take away something what we had to share.
I would like, if you all have your Instagram or Facebook handles, to share them now. I think some people might be able to see what we're putting out there and helping. So if you ladies want to go ahead, we can all share our handles.
Mine's at Crystal Novak _ PHX Realtor, Phoenix Realtor.
So mine is at ITS Sasha V. So it's Sasha V.
Quad Cities. So the Quad Cities, it's made up. So Iowa, Illinois. So Mississippi River kind of splits us in the middle. So it's Shannon Elliott, QC Realtor.
No, I mean, we're not all going to be, that's the wonderful thing about real estate is like, not everyone's going to love open houses. Not everyone's going to love social media. Not everyone's going to love networking, but there's a place for everyone. You don't have to be good at it all. Like, I literally think you should probably only pick like 2 things and just hone in on them. Like, we don't need to be doing everything. And sometimes everything turns into not as much if you lean into just 1 or 2 things, you could excel and like really be so good in that niche.
You're absolutely right. I feel like a lot of the agents try to do everything and then they don't really find success in it. Or just like, if you suck at open houses, please don't continue doing them. You're not happy there. Maybe you're really happy making TikToks and Instagram reels, and that's where you're at. And like, you do really well solo with the camera in front of your face. Some people freeze in front of their face, but they're really good at networking events, and then they're able to work those rooms, you know? So you're absolutely right. And I love that you said that, because all of us have foundationally the same servitude heart, and all of us have found success in it, but with very different ways of going about it. So I really appreciate learning from you ladies today.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
See you guys later.
What an energizing conversation with Sasha, Crystal, and Shannon. They showed that early success isn't about perfect scripts or buying leads. It's about connection, curiosity, and using the tools you already have to solve real problems for real people. I'm Leo, signing off for now. Go out there, lead with heart, and keep shaping a business that feels as good as it performs.